Understanding interest rate swaps, exploring the fundamentals of financial derivatives. Agenda. What are interest rate swaps? Interest rate swaps are financial agreements to exchange interest rate cash flows. They are primarily used to manage interest rate risk. Types of interest rate swaps. Various types include fixed for floating and floating for fixed swaps. Each serves different financial strategies. Benefits and risks. They can hedge against interest rate fluctuations while also exposing parties to counterparty risk. Practical applications. Interest rate swaps are widely used for managing corporate debt and improving cash flow management. What are interest rate swaps? Definition of interest rate swaps. Interest rate swaps are agreements to exchange interest rate payments. They usually involve a notional amount and set period. Parties involved. Involves two parties. One pays a fixed rate, the other pays a floating rate. This structure helps manage interest rate risk. Fixed versus floating rates. One party pays a fixed interest rate while the other party pays a floating rate. The floating rate is often linked to a benchmark. Defining interest rate swaps. Purpose of interest rate swaps. Interest rate swaps help manage the risk of interest rate fluctuations. They provide a way to stabilize cash flows. Participants involved. Participants include corporations, financial institutions, and governments. Each seeks to optimize financing costs. Fixed versus floating rates. Swaps allow locking in fixed rates or taking advantage of lower floating rates. This choice impacts financial strategies. How interest rate swaps work. Agreement on notional principal. Parties agree on a notional principal amount to determine payment calculations. Fixed and floating rates. The swap involves both fixed and floating interest rates for payment calculations. Payment schedule. Both parties agree on a payment schedule based on interest rate differences. Net difference payments. Payments are based on the net difference in interest amounts, not on full principal. Types of interest rates swaps. Fixed for floating swaps. These swaps involve exchanging fixed interest rates for floating rates. They're commonly used for hedging against interest rate fluctuations. Floating for fixed swaps. This type allows parties to exchange floating rates for fixed rates. It is often used to stabilize cash flows. Basis swaps. Basis swaps involve exchanging cash flows based on different floating rates. They address different interest rates across two financial instruments. Fixed for floating swaps. Common interest rate swap. The fixed for floating swap is the most prevalent interest rate swap type in the market. Mechanics of the swap. One party pays a fixed interest rate while receiving variable payments based on the floating rate. Hedging purpose. Entities use this swap type to protect against potential increases in interest rates. Floated for fixed swaps. Mechanism of swaps. This swap involves paying a floating rate while receiving a fixed rate. It balances the interest rate exposure. Benefits for borrowers. Beneficial for borrowers anticipating a decline in interest rates. They can lock in lower fixed rates. Benefits of interest rate swaps. Cost savings. Interest rate swaps can lead to significant cost reductions in interest payments. They help entities save money over time through optimized rate structures. Cash flow management. These swaps provide improved cash flow stability and predictability. This allows businesses to plan their finances more effectively. Risk mitigation. Interest rate swaps help manage exposure to fluctuating interest rates. This reduces financial uncertainty for organizations. Cost savings, interest rate swaps. Interest rate swaps allow companies to exchange fixed and variable interest rates. This can result in cost efficiencies in borrowing. Cost efficiency. By using swaps, companies can decrease their interest expenses compared to traditional loans. This is a strategic financial advantage. Risk mitigation, effective hedging strategy. Interest rate swaps are a proven method to hedge against volatility in interest rates. Locking in rates. By locking in rates, firms can better manage their financial risks and exposures. Stabilizing financial outlook. Stabilizing financial outlook reduces uncertainties and enhances investment confidence. Reducing cash flow uncertainty. Managing cash flow uncertainties is crucial for effective financial planning and operations. Risks associated with interest rate swaps. Market risk. Market risk arises from fluctuations in interest rates affecting swap values. It can lead to significant financial losses. Credit risk. Credit risk occurs when a counterparty defaults on your obligations. This can impact the swap's effectiveness. Liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is the difficulty of exiting or unwinding a swap agreement without substantial loss. Market risk. Definition of market risk. Market risk is the potential for financial loss due to changes in market conditions. It primarily impacts investments and financial instruments. Impact of interest rates. Fluctuations in interest rates can significantly affect the value of financial contracts like swaps. This can lead to substantial financial implications. Consequences for swap parties. Adverse movements in interest rates can result in losses for parties involved in a swap. Understanding this risk is crucial for effective management. Credit risk. Definition of credit risk. Credit risk involves the potential default of a party in a swap agreement. Understanding this risk is crucial for financial parties. Importance of assessments. Conducting thorough credit assessments helps in identifying potential risks. This due diligence is essential before entering agreements. Applications of interest rate swaps. Portfolio management. Interest rate swaps help in managing the interest rate risk within investment portfolios. This strategy optimizes returns according to market movements. Corporate financing strategies. Companies use interest rate swaps to adjust their debt profiles and reduce borrowing costs. This approach enhances financial flexibility. Risk management practices. Swaps are essential for hedging against interest rate fluctuations, protecting cash flows and profits from unexpected changes. Corporate financing strategies. Interest rate swaps overview. Interest rate swaps help companies manage their debt by aligning it with cash flow generation. This strategy can reduce financial risk. Fixed and floating rates. Managing fixed and floating rate exposure allows firms to optimize their financial structures effectively. This is crucial for financial stability. Optimizing financial structures. Companies can enhance their financial strategies by effectively managing cash flows and debt obligations. This leads to better investment decisions. Portfolio management. Purpose of interest rate swap. Interest rate swaps are essential tools for managing interest rate risk. They allow for flexibility in portfolio adjustments. Matching liabilities. By adjusting exposure, managers can align their portfolios with liabilities effectively. This reduces overall risk. Optimizing returns. The ultimate goal is to enhance returns while managing risks through strategic adjustments. This balances growth and safety. Conclusion. Importance of interest rate swaps. Interest rate swaps are crucial for managing financial risks effectively in markets. Benefits for financial professionals. Understanding swaps allows professionals to optimize financial strategies and manage risks. Associated risks. Awareness of potential risks is vital to avoid pitfalls in swap agreements. Thank you.